Hello, this is the England Pod Lionesses edition. I'm Robyn Cowan, and with me to preview England's final group game of the Euros in Switzerland. They're up against Wales, and with me, as ever, Kathryn Batty of The Telegraph, and David Walker is here too, and we're all feeling quite relaxed, I would say. Kathryn, I think people are trying to play this up and thinking it could be a little bit. Let's first of all talk about, what England need and what Wales need to get through, with very, very unlikely to. So England just need to beat Wales. And Wales need a pretty big goal swing. Is it 4 goals or something like that? It's fairly big. I'm assuming Wales' motivation isn't thinking, let's try and get reach the knockout stages. Motivation is let's get something off this England team, right?
I'd imagine so, yeah. I think they'll want to finish the tournament strong, and for them to pick up a point from this group, or a win would be absolutely massive for them, given how difficult it was coming into it with 3 really kind of top experienced teams. And they'll just want to, if this is going to be their last game in the tournament, they'll want to enjoy it and they'll want to give it absolutely everything. And you saw kind of the reaction when they scored against France. They it was almost like a celebration as if they'd won the game. That's how much it meant to them to get a goal. So it would mean absolutely everything for them to get something against England, just to kind of make it difficult for them. So that I'm sure will be well up for it, and I'm not going to be pushovers whatsoever.
I'm really pleased they had that moment, actually, because I was watching at Lionesses HQ that game. It's like they put a bar up and it had lots of Lionesses things. So it was after the England game, and actually everyone, and there was England fans in there, was cheering and screaming when Jess Fishlock scored. Everyone was so happy, and it was a great moment. People are calling this a derby, Dave. You having that?
Derbies don't really work the same, do they, at international level? It doesn't quite sound right. It's obviously a big rivalry. They don't even have the status of the old enemy that Scotland have. But clearly there's still, plenty of history between England and Wales, various sports over the years. But I think it's an interesting one, because we've had that big pressure release of that massive win against the Netherlands, but now we do have to get the job done. We should beat them comfortably, just in terms of the difference in quality between the two sides. But will be interesting to see if at any point in the match there is a scenario where maybe we haven't taken the lead yet, and let's say events in the other match are conspiring to potentially eliminate us. Does the pressure start to tick up a little bit there? I was just looking at the group table, though. I'm not quite sure how it works, because head-to-head is the first thing before goal difference. So if we win and Netherlands win, what happens then? Because then France, England, Netherlands will all have 6 points, and we'll all have beaten each other. Does it go to goal difference?
I think it would go to goal difference. Yeah.
Do Netherlands need to beat France by a margin? It's not just a victory, I think.
So
especially
France,
England.
Yeah, Netherlands have got -1 goal difference currently. France have got +4. England have got +3. So Netherlands would need to
big win
by a few to get in there. Look, as you said, we win the game, we should be through, and that's all we need to do.
Absolutely. And let's be real, as you said, Dave. With respect to Wales and for everything they've achieved so far, England should be winning comfortably, as you said. And it's just the fact of where the Lionesses are and where Wales are in their sort of development. There's no slight on them. I covered their first game, and some of the stories are just unbelievable. The Welsh FA withdrew them from qualifying a Euro 2005 because they felt it was too expensive. Instead, they paid a 50,000 Swiss franc fine because they thought Belarus and Kazakhstan were too far to send the women to try and qualify, and that wasn't that long ago. So just to sort of illustrate exactly where they are and the fact that they've managed to get to this tournament. And we need to reiterate again, I think, just how difficult this group that they've been chucked into has been for them. It's like Maximum Fire doesn't really cover it.
Yeah, it is a hell of a story, and I always remember looking at Wales over the years and hoping that they would get to a major tournament whilst Watford legend and part of the BBC commentary team, Helen Ward, was still playing for Wales. If anyone's not familiar with her career, she scored bags of goals for Watford. She's played for Arsenal, Chelsea as well, I think, in the WSL.
Chelsea,
and was the record scorer for Wales before Jess Fishlock got the record.
That's right.
And they didn't quite make it before, in time for her career, before it ended for her to get there. But she's kind of there anyway now, I suppose. Commentating on them at the Euros for the BBC is probably a decent second best. But yeah, it is a great story. But great stories will go out the window once we kick off on Sunday, and it's an interesting situation, I suppose, for Wiegman in that it's not like a free hit, you're already through, you can rotate and you can kind of rest players. You've still got to win the game. So do we expect her to be unchanged from the last game?
Well, it was a free hit, wasn't it, at Euro 2022, and she didn't rotate the starting 11, did she, Kathryn? My prediction would be that she would go again, but maybe if the goals start going in, she'll maybe make substitutions a bit earlier. Would that be your feeling?
Yeah, I think she'll stick with the same team. I don't think she'll change the team that beat the Netherlands. I think it's not like Sarina to change it if it's worked. I think she can recognise when it hasn't worked, and that's what she did after the first game. But I think you don't change a winning team when they've won so comfortably as they did against the Dutch. I think she'll keep it the same. And as you say, she might make changes earlier if they need a goal. Or if they find themselves a few goals up, then she might make a few more changes to try and give people a bit of rest. But obviously, getting ahead of ourselves slightly by hoping that that's the case. I think she'll keep the same team.
Wales had a couple of... I mean, the first game against the Netherlands, I think they've already admitted, actually, they were a bit nervous, and defensively they were pretty good until Miedemar's goal sort of opened the floodgates. And even though they conceded 4 against France, I'm not sure if you watched this game, Dave, but the general consensus was they were a lot better, big improvement between the first and second game. Yeah,
which is encouraging for them, and it shows that, look, England can't completely take this game lightly. We can't just turn up and expect to blow them away. We are going to have to keep going from where we left off against the Netherlands. But I expect that I hope we will do, and I expect that we will do, because we'll want to keep momentum. And I think it will be natural as well. As much as the players have got to focus on the task at hand and actually win the game, I think there will be, deep down, even if they don't admit it, there'll be a bit of them that's thinking about, right, we're gonna have a tough game when we get through. If we win this game, we're going to be playing either Sweden or Germany in the quarterfinals, which will be a difficult game either way. So they'll want to keep playing their way into the tournament, keep the momentum. They'll want to go into that game really confident. So, yeah, I think it's quite an interesting game in that respect.
Because we've seen, actually, well, more in the men's side, these home nations games can be a little bit awkward. But actually for the Lionesses, like, there was a big win against Northern Ireland, wasn't there? They've beaten Scotland pretty heavily at major tournaments. So as I keep saying, this really on paper this should be a comfortable win. It's
just the 0-0 draw at Euro 2020 for the men against Scotland was awful. I also remember watching. I mean, this Wales team were obviously very good at the time, but the England-Wales in 2016 was a hell of a game, but England obviously only won right at the death with a goal from Daniel Sturridge. Hopefully it'll be a bit more comfortable. But we'll get to the predictions later, actually. I've got a scenario mapped out in my head that I'm going to go through when we get to the predictions later. And also, I don't know if you've not mentioned yet, I was hoping you would, I'm wearing the new Watford kit as we record this, and there is a reason. I'm not just showing it off. The last preview pod I wore a Watford training top, so I'm afraid now for every game that we keep winning, I'm going to have to wear a different Watford shirt on each preview pod in order to ensure our pathway through to the final.
I'm okay with that. I'm guessing you have quite a few to rotate in.
Yeah, plenty.
Got a good roster. Good, excellent. Just back to the lineup. I mean, Kathryn, that's what we think Sarina Wiegman would do. Is there anyone you'd like to see either start or maybe just see a bit more of if the game goes that way?
I think I'd like to see a bit more of Chloe Kelly, I think, just because she had such a strong end to the season with Arsenal and she looked really, really confident. And she's come off the bench in both games, but come in at a point where, obviously against France, I think we were finding it difficult. And by the time she'd come on against the Netherlands, we were in control and it's sort of like we already had the game won. And naturally, I don't think she's going to start against Wales. But if she does come on, obviously, again, you kind of want her to come on at a point where England aren't chasing the game. But if there were sort of 1 or 2 goals up, I think she could come on and make a real impact. And like I say, she just had such a strong end to the season with Arsenal. And it's so difficult to get into that front three because that is the area of the pitch where England have so many options. So I can kind of understand why, she hasn't been starting. But like I say, she's just played so well at the end of the season. It'd be nice to kind of see a bit more of her and possibly maybe Grace Clinton as well, who I think has always kind of impressed in an England shirt when she's got the opportunity. And just Jess Park, because obviously the sort of half-whole connection, because she went to the same school as me, so... I was on local radio last night and they said, we've not seen any of Jess Park yet. Do you think she'll come on? And I was like, would be nice.
Question.
Would be nice, yeah.
When it's local radio, that's the...
Yeah, where's the angle?
Exactly. So, yeah, she's not seen any minutes yet, has she? So, yeah, no, that'll be good to see her. Dave, anyone else? Maybe the Ajimang factor, maybe a little bit more, see if she can do more than just provide a bit of chaos?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see her on the pitch. I mean, I think Kathryn's right. If we're looking like we're home and hosed, then maybe it is a chance to throw some of the players on who haven't had any or many minutes so far. But yeah, I saw the interview with Lauren James actually after the game or the day after the game. She's got a bit of a shiner, isn't she? After that bump on the head the other day. So I mean, I wonder. Yeah, I think that will come into some Wiegman's thoughts, not just Lauren James specifically, but in general, of like, if we can get a lead and we look like we're safe here, then we will want to save people and maybe mix things up a little bit. But yeah, from looking at history and just the situation, it'd be surprising if we saw anything too different, I think.
Yeah. But if we know Sarina Wiegman, I think that's she goes to consistency, doesn't she? Well, you can pick your starting 11 using FotMob's lineup predictor and post them to socials, and make sure you tag us in England Pod. Links are in the show notes. Right, to the Predictions League and Ali Maxwell's reign of terror, Dave.
Yeah, and we were talking about knocking him off his perch in the last game, but he's zoomed up from 6th to the top spot. He's got 12 results right in a row.
That is incredible.
That's mad,
which is amazing. And if he had a pound on that, I'm sure he'd be paying for me and him and a few others to get out to Switzerland for the quarterfinals. But yeah, he's done really well. But Ali's top with 34 points overall. Nick Parmenter has dropped to 2nd. Michael Cox has risen up the rankings to 5th as well. I'm currently down in 9th. Oh, we're all bunched up. So you two have had a good few games as well. So me and Robyn and Sinead Bird are all joint 9th, and Kathryn, you're just behind us in 12th. So it is hotting up between us for sure.
All to play for, but yeah, fair play. Listen, fair play, Ali. Yeah, we got to say that, haven't we?
Yeah.
Right. So today we have Sweden, Germany, which I think we'll all have a bit of an eye on. You know, with respect to knowing that Lionesses have to win their game on Saturday. So today, Sweden, Germany, who are both already through, and this is a sort of game to decide who goes through as group winners. And we've got Poland, Denmark, both already out. And then should we do tomorrow as well? We've got Netherlands against France at the same time, England against Wales. So tonight, I've gone for a Sweden-Germany draw, 1-1.
I've gone for 2-2. FotMob are giving Germany a 41% chance of winning, Sweden 32%. But Sweden being in the box seat, as it were, being top of the group on goal difference already, I think they will be motivated to hold out, which would send them through as group winners, which would mean, in all likelihood, England would play Sweden in the next round. But yeah, I reckon a high-scoring draw there.
I've gone for a Germany win. I'd like it to be a draw, just to hopefully avoid a potential England-Germany quarter-final, although Sweden have looked pretty good. But I just think I've not been massively impressed by Germany in their first two games, but I think they just might nick a 1-0.
Yeah, that seems to be the way, isn't it? And then we got Poland, Denmark, which is a bit of a dead rubber. Poland have struggled a bit. It's another debutant like Wales. They've had their moments. Scored. Yeah. Denmark have had a bit disappointing, really, haven't they? I've gone for a Denmark win 2-1.
I've gone 3-1 to Denmark because Poland's defensive record has been pretty poor and they haven't scored yet. But I think I'm going to give them a chance of getting one goal before they head home. So a 3-1 win for Poland in the deadest of dead rubbers.
Yeah, 2-1 Denmark for me. I think either Pajor's going to score for Poland, but I just think, as you say, their defence just isn't quite good enough to hold out.
So Netherlands, France. The Netherlands need a big win. I'm not sure they're going to get it. I think they'll score, but I think France will probably pick them off. So I've gone for a 3-1 France win over the Netherlands.
So the scenario that I mentioned, here's what I don't know. I don't think this will happen, but I'm trying to be creative with my predictions because you got to at this stage, right?
Yeah.
So in this scenario, I've got Netherlands beating France 3-2 because I think with the other game, if England and Wales is 0-0 in the late on, we haven't managed to break down the Welsh and score, say, come the 70th minute. And the Netherlands get word that if they win, or even if they draw, they could go through. They'll be pushing. They'll be really pushing. France might just have their foot off the gas a little bit, thinking, right, we're okay here. So I've got Netherlands to win 3-2, but then England to get a late winner 1-0 and send the Netherlands packing anyway, even if they do beat France. So yeah, I've got Netherlands winning 3-2 and England winning 1-0.
I can just see the cameras getting a bit too close to the Netherlands players crying for that scenario. I love it. Well, that was evocative. I was there, Dave. I was there. How about you, Kathryn?
I feel like it could be a draw between France and Netherlands, but I think, because I do think France will slightly ease off, but they did rotate a little bit against Wales, didn't they? I think.
Yeah, a bit weirdly. Yeah.
So I think they'll want to finish strongly before a potentially difficult-ish quarter-final. So, because they could end up having Germany in the quarter-finals, couldn't they? Or they could have both whoever finishes first and second in our group. It's a difficult game either way.
Yeah.
So I'm going to change my mind and say I think France are going to win 2-1. And I'm going to go, I don't know how many goals to give England, because they're just so unpredictable. I think if they score early, they could get a lot. But equally, we've seen, if Wales play a low block, we've seen England struggle with that in the past.
We've been very conservative with our predictions so far. No one's really predicted a big win for anyone. So I reckon you should just go for it.
I should just go for it.
An 8-0
okay, I'm going to go 5-0 England.
Oh, love it.
And have the whole of Wales just, come for me after we mess it up.
But you're right, we need to be a bit more...
Hopefully Jess Fishlock doesn't listen to this before the game and sort of play it in the dressing room or something.
Yeah, again. I've gone for 3-0 to England. I think they might take their foot off the gas especially if they score early.
It'd be nice to see Russo score, I think, in this game for England, wouldn't it?
Yes,
she was unlucky not to score in the last game. Her personal XG was pretty good in that last game, but just couldn't finish her chances. Obviously had the goal ruled out for the merest of offsides in the first game, so it'd be good if she could get off the mark.
Twice she's been she's not been offside, a teammate's been offside.
Yeah,
so it's
same
like,
thing
guys,
again, yeah.
let's just watch your line. Like, I'm doing my job. So yeah, I think
Now she might have an extra fan coming out to Switzerland because her brother's out of Love Island. So maybe that will make all the difference.
Big news. What happened? What did he do? Why is he out?
Oh, it was quite sad, really. So he went to Kathryn where he probably should have just brought somebody back because he had free reign to do so because he wasn't in like a couple with anyone. But he didn't bring anyone back, which I've never actually seen before because he just said he felt it would have been wrong to lead someone on because he didn't have a strong connection with anyone. But then, twist of fate, they were like, right, you're single, you've now been dumped, which was quite sad, really. But I also wondered, is it tactical? Did he have in his mind that like, if I get out now, I can make it back to Switzerland for the final? So maybe there's part of that in it. But yeah, he actually basically got dumped for being a nice guy.
Okay.
Don't mind that.
Yeah,
so
that's
yeah,
all right.
of all the ways to go, that's probably the best.
He's come out of it with, a bit of credit, I'm guessing, not like most of the other people in there. Yeah, not something I watch regularly, but it's been great to have the updates. But yeah, Giorgio, be great to see you out here. And yeah, thankfully, I think Alessia Russo can now watch it with a bit less trepidation, as mentioned.
I think Watford, to mention another Watford legend, which is completely unrelated to anything we're talking about, but Watford legend Gifton Noel Williams' son, I think, was in it. I don't know if he's still in it, but he definitely was in this series I saw the other day. So I've still got maybe I do need to keep an eye on things.
There you go. If there's a Watford connection, you're there, aren't you? Actually,
absolutely.
Footballers and Love Island are quite linked, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think an Oxford City player won it, I think. It's always very funny when you hear the manager of those teams interviewed saying, well, he didn't report for pre-season. They turned my telly on. Yeah. Anyway, we'll be we'll be on Giorgio watch, shall we? In St Gallen, me and Kathryn. We'll see what happens. Someone had a massive. Did you see that on the telly? Massive print out of Alessia Russo's face.
Yeah,
Yes.
it went to after the goal. I think either it was after the goal got ruled out or after she'd missed a chance, and then there was just a big big Alessia Russo face in the crowd, which was quite scary actually.
It's absolutely humongous. I don't know how they got that through the turnstile, but yeah. Again, fair play. Be looking out for that. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. You can get involved in the Predictions League. We still need someone to knock Ali off his perch, but it's going to take some doing now. I mean, my word, what a run. What a run Ali is on. But yes, FOTMob app, download. And all the details you need to download the FOTMob app is on in the links in our show notes, and we will be back to reflect on England's game against Wales on the next edition of the England Pod Lionesses edition. We'll see you then.